Hey, I'm Todd. Thanks for watching my video and do all that good YouTube stuff. Share it, like it, hit the notification bell, thumbs up, subscribe, all the things that you do. Thanks for taking the time to watch my video and saving some money perhaps. I also invite you to check out the links in the description for some long-term savings with the stock market and checking out the links for either E-Trade or M1 where you can save and trade fractional stocks, or Webull, which is usually giving away a couple free stocks for just depositing $100. So I strongly invite you to invest in your future and check them out. Thanks, and let's get to the video. 2002 Ford Mustang, gonna do the rear brake pad replacement. We're under the hood looking at the master cylinder. There's a maximum line right here, and then I'm sure there's possibly a minimum line on here. Maybe over here. I don't really see a minimum, but I'm going to keep it probably above this crack. Just twist the cap twists off. Cap twists on. So just keep an eye on your fluid level. Brake fluid can damage paint, as I always say on these brake videos, so just don't want to necessarily spill a lot. Otherwise, spill. Put the cap on and wash it down with your garden hose. Wash it down with water, should be fine. So keep an eye on the level. As you're collapsing pistons, it's going to come up. So keep an eye on the fluid level, and we'll get her done here. It's not too full. I feel good about collapsing the pistons, and it should be okay. So then you want to break the lug nuts loose at turner 2. All the nuts and bolts are left to loosen. It's counterclockwise, right to tighten, clockwise. Break them loose, a turn or two on the ground, and then we'll jack the vehicle up and continue taking stuff apart. Everything is left to loosen, right to tighten, jack the vehicle up. Use safety stands, protect yourself. You can probably jack it up right here under the pumpkin. Get both sides off the ground, use safety stands. Plenty of good metal on both sides for jacking. So get the tires off the ground, and then you can take the lug nuts off the rest of the way, and then you're at the brakes. We want to make sure the slides are good and make sure the piston collapses. Got the emergency brake cable built in. Emergency brake is built in here, so we want to use a special tool and turn the caliper piston in. Make sure it collapses properly before we continue too much further. For me, they're 12mm bolts, but they can change if the calipers have been replaced. Little springing action because there's a spring in there. Comes off. Kind of dirty, so we'll give it a little cleaning. We have a special tool for collapsing. It's got two little knobbies on there. It's going to fit in the slots on the piston. And when you're turning it, make sure that this boot doesn't bind up. You want to grab your hands maybe and give it a little pull and make sure it frees up so it's not twisting. So we're basically going to be turning this until it's in. And for the most part, usually you want these slots always like this. Give it a few turns and we can move this. Seems to be collapsing pretty good. Do the same for both sides. Alright, losing battery power, but we're going to get that as straight as possible here. And then we're good. Collapse both sides. Make sure they collapse properly, and just check the slides. Make sure they move. And they do. So then we can continue with our brake job pretty safely, knowing everything's going to work. So these are interfering with my ratchet, so I'm going to switch to a ratcheting wrench. So that's why I'm stopping and switching. We'll take a little sandpaper to this. So match up your rotors, make sure they're the same height, and of course the same size this way. And you can double check, make sure your brake pads look like the old ones. So, and then when we feel good about that, we can start installing. Just do that to keep the rotor nice and straight for when I put the caliper back on, just makes it a little easier. Little clips go on the end. They seem to want to fall off. Might have been on camera. They seem to want to fall off, so I get in here with the screwdriver and I bend this tang. I bend it up a little bit so it grabs on the back side. It grabs a little bit better, doesn't fall off. Usually. There we go. We'll do that the same for the other brake pads. Mount them like that. I'm going to put a little caliper lube on here. We'll torque those bolts to 76 foot-pounds. Should be able to pinch these a bit and slide it down. We drop the caliper on them. I'm going to make sure these are kind of even like this, and they'll spring down because they're going to want to stay like this, and you can't push the caliper down. So you have to play with these a little bit while you're dropping the caliper back into place. These have got flat spots on them. It's focusing. Has flat spots on them, so you want to make sure the flat spot lands on the flat spot on the caliper on both ends. Flat spot and flat spot. And just make sure, like we talked about, the springs aren't poking up through there. So we should be good, and we'll tighten those down to I think 23, 24 foot-pounds. for the 2 bolts there. I'm sure the other one's tight enough. The spring's in the way for me, so I couldn't get my torque wrench in there. Alright, so then we will put the tire on, put the lug nuts on, tighten them as tight as you can in a crisscross pattern, and then drop the vehicle down so the wheel is touching the ground, and then go ahead and tighten them some more, and the torque spec is probably 100 foot-pounds. Torque them in a tighten them in a crisscross pattern to 100 foot-pounds. Then you want to go in the car and pump the brakes 5, 6, 7 times to set the calipers in their proper spot, and then we'll check the brake fluid and verify its proper level. The wheel lug nut torque is listed as 95 foot-pounds.